Hey guys, in today's video I thought I'd share my experience becoming self-employed as a teenager. The upsides, the downsides and the changes that it had on me without me even realising. My name's Oscar J, I'm from the Gold Coast, Australia. I own OH Detailed and J Marketing Services and I just turned 20 of this July 2026. OH Detailed is the business that I started building at 18. It's a car detailing shop specialising in high ticket services, and JMS is my digital marketing agency. Basically, we do on-site content creation and filming for service-based businesses and then turn those videos into advertisements on Meta and Google. And by no means are these just Instagram pages that I've slapped a name and domain on. They're real, tangible businesses. OH Detailed in particular has served over 1,000 people in its first year of business. I feel like that's a good benchmark that makes me feel qualified to share my experiences executing and building my entrepreneurial journey at such a young age. So these are some of the lessons that I've learned over this experience building these businesses at such a young age. I'm sure some of it you guys are going to relate to, but enough said. Number one, nobody cares about your dream as much as you do. When you're building something real, you quickly realize that nobody around you understands it like you do. They don't have the vision that you have, and that's not because they have bad intentions. They just don't see the dream through your mind. They don't see the business that you've built before you've even executed on it, and they don't see the vision in your mind of where you want to be in 12 months from now. And once you understand that, you need to make sure you can still execute. You need to put yourself out there despite people judging you before they've seen results. Family and friends might think you're wasting your time, but if you believe in it, that's all that matters. Anything is possible, you just need to force it out of the universe. The second thing is that your identity becomes attached to your business. And this was probably the most blunt thing for me to come to terms with. My detailing shop, for example, blew up and it became the talking topic of the entire town. Everyone and their mothers were talking about it, posting it all over social media, referring friends and family, talking about it at the dinner table. And in the midst of all that, you become known as, oh, that's Oscar, the detailing guy. But the heaviest part is that your performance becomes your reputation. You get put on an invisible podium that you never expected to be on. One bad day, one bad customer experience, and suddenly that becomes attached to your personal name. The same name that was called in primary school roll call. And it's a weird feeling, especially when every hiccup or failure feels so personal. I based my self-worth on how much money was coming in, how long I was booked out for, and to be honest, that's still something that I struggle with today. And I've come to terms with the fact that it might not ever go away, but that's something that I'm happy to live with because it pushes me in the right direction. To act when no one is watching and to work harder every single day. Because whether I like it or not, my self-worth became directly correlated to my profit and loss statement. When you're young, your business isn't just what you do, it's what people know you as. The third thing is that success does not remove pressure. Everybody's got this imaginary number in their head, and when they think of that number, they go, if I just hit that number, then I'll be content and I'll be happy. And that was the same for me. Seriously, I promise it was until I reached it. And for example, when I quit my job to start my detailing business full time, I went from making $2,400 a month to hitting my first $10,000 within 30 days. And no word of lie, I enjoyed it for about 6 minutes before I was already planning on what's next. The biggest thing is seeing someone else doing better than you. As soon as you hit a new milestone, all it does is set the bar for what's required. And then you're chasing the next thing. Or at least that's my experience. When I was making $15, $20 an hour, the only thing I thought about was how do I make more money? And then as soon as you do that, it switches to how do I not mess this up? Fourth thing is that your social life changes. I hear a lot of people say, I want to work for myself so that I can work whenever I want. And yeah, technically that's true. You could be homeless for all anyone cares, but can you work whenever you want? Not really. You have to be comfortable with sitting in on a Friday and Saturday night whilst everyone that you know is out doing the quote-unquote normal routine. But honestly, this became my favorite part of it because you learn to love and value it. You learn to love and value the difference that separates you from the crowd. If you're the right person, you don't hate this. You see it as your superpower. Stop being selfish and only caring about what I wanted to do. And I shifted my focus onto what must I do and what are my duties. And that's a more powerful feeling than turning up to all those parties and spending every night out. Because at the end of the day, you're a teenager and you own a business. Because at the end of the day, you're not trying to achieve happiness, you're trying to achieve greatness. There are still emails, phone calls, bills to pay, and problems to solve, no matter where you are or what you're doing. fifth thing is that your biggest enemy isn't laziness, it's distraction. When you work for yourself, you have a new freedom to do whatever you want pretty much. Doom scroll here, lunch there. And I think that this is the thing that filters the motivated people out who don't have the grit to stick to what needs to be done. And when everything's on you, it's easy to convince yourself that watching motivational videos or jumping on every new idea is productive work. Procrastination disguised as productivity. You need to learn what your non-negotiables are, the things that must get done, no matter how repetitive or boring they are and no matter who's watching. You must keep yourself accountable, bottom line. The sixth and final thing is that entrepreneurship can be lonely. This doesn't mean nobody understands me. What this means is that you can be in a room full of friends and family and still feel like you're carrying a weight that nobody has ever had to carry before. Your mind never switches off. You're always responsible for every outcome and the uncertainty is always there. And for a while, it can make you envious of other people. You see people finish work when they clock off. They go home and they don't have any more responsibilities. Their day is done and nothing is relying on them. And that's why it's important to fall in love with the work and understand the fundamentals of duty. Duty to make decisions alone, duty to work when no one else is, duty to carry the extra weight, and duty to adopt this new mindset when no one else is around. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you need to remember you chose this path for a reason. Something lit a spark inside of you that made you want to choose this path, and you can't lose that. You cannot forget about that. The biggest thing that I've learned with building businesses at a young age is that it changes you and you don't notice it for a long time. It forces you to grow up faster. It forces you to make decisions when you're not ready and almost become numb to feeling uncomfortable. And most of all, it forces you to take on a responsibility for things that most people your age have never even had to consider in their lifetime. But despite all the pressure, uncertainty, and sacrifices, I wouldn't trade this for a single thing. Because when you choose this path, you're not just chasing money, success, clout, you're choosing to become someone capable of handling the life that you want to live. I'm still only 20 years old and by no means am I where I want to be, and I have a very long way to go. And in that long way to go, there are going to be plenty more lessons, challenges, and failures along the way. But I think that that's what makes the journey worth documenting. Because the goal isn't just to reach some finish line and say that I made it, it's to become the person who was capable of making it happen. So if you're young and you're building something, my advice from me to you would be stay patient but consistent, and don't underestimate how much you can change your life in even a year. I'm still figuring it all out, but this is my journey so far and I'm excited to see where it all goes.